Welcome to the Hustle and Motivate podcast. Today we have a special guest, Ashley from Studio I Do. Ashley owns Studio I Do, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, bridal stores in the state of Virginia. We talk about business, we talk about how she got her start. So check out the interview. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and we'll check y'all out on the next one. Welcome to Hustle and Motivate Season 2. We have a special guest with us today. One of my favorite people in the bridal industry ever. It's Ashley, Studio I Do.
Hello.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Thanks for asking me.
Yes. So you're one of my favorite people.
Oh,
you know
you're
it.
one of mine too.
So let's start with, how did Studio I Do get started?
Gosh, well, it is a long story, but I'll try to not confuse everybody. So Studio I Do started first with a little dream I had to open my own bridal store. Mm-hmm. But kind of prior to opening a bridal store, you do a lot of research. You go, well, is another bridal store needed in your area? Where are you going to do it? What lines are you going to carry? Do you have access to those lines? All the things. So as I think about a bridal store, I first thought about Studio I Do as a name.
Right.
I made sure that name didn't exist, which
Right.
it didn't. And I got that name. I got my domain. I got all that.
That's cool though, because
Yeah.
I never even asked you that. Like, how did you come up with that? Because that's very unique.
So it's, gosh, okay. So Studio I Do, the brand I created in 2014. So what is that? We're 8 years old
8 years
this year. Yeah. And at the time, 8 years ago, everybody was using their own name in their bridal stores, or they were using words that were like a different language, like, you know, just just to be cute and fun. And there were so many names of bridal stores. There's also a lot of blush bridal stores, like
French,
French, anything, just everything was, there was too much. I just wanted a name that just said bridal, but also said like elevated experience, like almost a little bit more, we're, you know, in our, I used to call it big city, small town vibe of Virginia Beach. Wanted something to feel a little bit more elevated. And I always loved the cleanliness of a studio. And I want, every studio gives you a blank canvas to let your product and whatever you're showcasing, like, speak for itself. Just like in photography, you know, white backdrop, I got you all day. So I was like, I need something to be so clean and concise and then bridal. And I was like, how can I do that? And I just kept falling onto this cute little font I saw on a engagement party invitation I got, and it was I Do with an exclamation point. And I was like, that's just so cute. And then I was like, Studio I Do. I was just like, it could be that simple. And I looked it up. Nobody was using it. Bought the domain on GoDaddy, and we just ran with it. And so once I had that and an idea for the brand and what I want it to be, I was like, okay, next step is like, what designers am I going to carry? Where's the store going to be? Who's it going to compete with in the community? Because you have to think about all those things in business. Like, how is your business going to fulfill a need that's not already being done? Right. You know, we wanted something a little unique and different. So I didn't have that answered. Right. And I was kind of scared and nervous to go compete with some of the best bridal stores in our area at the time. We had a bridal store that was doing big business that I had supported.
By the way, she's number one now.
Oh.
By the way, she's the Hampton Rose. You're the state though, right?
And we are the largest bridal store in the state of Virginia.
Yep.
So by units of dresses and opportunity and designers. So we do a really great business, and we didn't start that way though. And what I had the opportunity of doing is really thinking about who was already in the industry here. And All the Rage, which people have known as a namesake of Prom, the place to shop Prom. That's been in business since 1940. I worked for All the Rage for 13 years. And I knew that if any store had an opportunity to be elevated, bring new ideas to the table, they carried bridal. They just didn't do bridal like some of the other stores were doing bridal. I was like, but they had great product and they gave great customer service. And I knew that from years of working with them. So at the time I was like, my husband was like, why don't you just go to All the Rage and say, I want to buy it. I want to buy your store.
Mhm.
And I went, well, what if they say no? He's like, I don't think they're going to say no. Just meet them and ask. I want to buy your store. I want to take it to the next level. Are you interested? So I had lunch with the owner who I worked for years. And the words out of her mouth when I asked her was, literally, I wouldn't sell it to anyone else.
Nice.
And it was just one of those moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this now. Okay, I'm going to buy a store.
Yeah.
But Studio I Do was not the store I was buying.
Right. It was All the Rage.
It was All the Rage. But I knew All the Rage was just prom.
Yep.
Prom. And it's all people thought about. And so I knew that if I introduced a brand that I felt strong about and recreated their bridal to a new brand, that people in the area would go, ooh, that's new. That I like that name. Oh my gosh, it's connected to All the Rage, but it's different. And they knew All the Rage was a long-standing company that did great business in prom. I said, I think this could be a really cool marriage, so to speak, of brands, and I can evolve them. So I bought All the Rage and then quickly introduced Studio I Do Bridals to that storefront.
Right behind it.
Right behind it. And I just said, now if you shop All the Rage, or if you shop Studio I Do, you're within the All the Rage namesake, because we did only have one store.
Nice.
It was All the Rage at Hilltop. And people would look for Studio I Do on the building, and at the time all we had was a logo in the window, but it was Studio I Do Bridals at All the Rage. So that's kind of how Studio I Do started. And now it's grown. Actually in 2018, in just 4 short years, we grew Studio I Do to this location that we're sitting in now. And it just really took off. And now Studio I Do has its own storefront.
Yep.
Right next door. We're neighbors with All the Rage.
All the Rage. Yep.
Because yes, I still do own that brand and operate that. But they are two self-identifying brands that get to flourish and do their own thing and reach their own customers. But yet our prom girls that we see through prom know that they can come back and see us next door for Studio I Do. So that's really fun. And that's kind of how the brand started and how it took off and how it's continuing to grow.
It's a beautiful cycle.
Yeah.
You start with prom.
Yep.
That's one of their biggest moments in high school. And then eventually, I don't know, what's the average?
Oh, don't tell me the average. I think it changes every year.
Every year.
Sometimes they get older and sometimes they get younger. And I'm like, what are you doing? But no, I'm just kidding.
Mom is like, we went and got a dress from Ashley
Ashley,
at
yeah.
All the Rage. Let's go back. Big day.
Yep.
Studio I Do.
Yep. And that's actually what why it worked so well to take over the All the Rage brand, an existing store that I felt so strongly about and knew had such an amazing image and reputation, and that I could evolve it into like a new century, give it some new life. And really all I did was redesign the inside. It had the same product, same designers, still keep the elevated experience and deliver that in a Studio I Do mentality. We get our customers back, and we have a circle of life goal with our customers. And it wasn't, and I know we're talking about Studio I Do, but it wasn't until I started Studio I Do where I was like, there's other facets of our business that need to be fulfilled that I can't do in one storefront. I can't physically give everyone everything in one storefront. Every storefront and brand needed its identity and needed to be focused. So Studio I Do was focused on beautiful, exclusive products. And the reason I say exclusive is I've created great relationships with most of our vendors we do business with and manufacturers that we have exclusive territory, which is really important in business, in my opinion. You don't want your neighbors to have every product you have. We want to be unique and different. And when brides shop here, we've created a large selection of some of the country's leading designers. And we have exclusive territory with most of our vendors.
When you say that, where is it exclusive to?
So it depends. I have territory from here to Richmond with most.
I got you.
There's some that I have here to DC,
Okay.
where you will not find a dress in our store in any other store until you hit north. So that's really special to me. And when I create these relationships and I do business with these designers and dresses that we have, we want that because one, we want brides to want to shop here because they love us and they love the experience, but we also want them to know that we've created such a large selection to help them. Like I'm not a shopper. I love clothing and I love fashion.
Go
But
ahead.
I'm not a shopper.
Okay. All right.
Like I hate shopping.
Okay.
I hate it. And I'm not an online shopper. So someone's like, oh, you must love shopping online. I'm actually not. I love supporting businesses.
Sure.
I love touching and feeling product. But the reason I hate shopping is because I hate feeling like I have to go everywhere to find what I'm looking for. But when I find a store that caters to my needs and they hit just about everything, I'm like in heaven. And I support that store and I keep going back and I keep checking their new product. That's just how I am. So I kind of take my life circumstances and where I've shopped and how I've shopped and the experiences I've gotten, and I wanted to bring them to the studio. So I was like, let's create a place where a bride that doesn't like shopping doesn't have to feel like she has to go to 2, 3, 4 bridal stores to get the best selection. She is coming into one store that has the largest selection, the best manufacturers in the world, because really we do. And I mean that not just because I'm saying that we're Studio I Do. I mean it because they are. Yeah. Everyone tries to be some of the designers we have. And I wanted to create that, and we have. And it's paid off because there are so many customers that come in and they walk around our front, because we kind of hide our showroom a little bit. Yep. We walk around that wall in the front after being greeted and they're like, whoa, what did I just walk into? And it's so, when I hear that, I'm just like, yep, it's bridal world here. You're in it. So that's kind of, what we focused on for Studio. So the newness, the best of the best bridal brands. Okay. But then we have Here and Now Bridal. Yeah. That's another one. The third brand that I brought to our stores. And I filled that. We opened up Here and Now Bridal because we were like, what are we going to do to the bride that loves a deal? But also, we're in a military town. What are we going to do for the bride that doesn't have the time? Yep. Like, I'm getting married in 2 months. I need a dress. Well, Studio I Do doesn't have the ability to just let dresses fly off the rack. These dresses take 4 to 6 months to make, create, and have. Bridal is a very special industry. They're made to order product. It's kind of like furniture in a way. Yeah. It's made to order. So it's not like these are all sitting in a warehouse ready to just go, or I have a back stock room full of the same dress in all different sizes. We have to special order your product. Brides that didn't have that time. Yeah. It's really unique for retail, And so brides that didn't have the time would come in here and they would be like, I love your dresses, but if you can't sell me off the rack, you're not being helpful. And that actually kind of made us look frowned upon. They were like, you can't help me because I'm getting married in 2 months, and that really stinks. But we didn't have a way to help them. We couldn't just keep selling our best dresses. We would lose opportunity on those. So anyway, we created Here and Now. Yep. And Here and Now is our off the rack option. Right. And the way we created it is every few months, and now more than ever, we get discontinuation notices where a fabric's discontinued, a beading's discontinued, this dress is no longer being made. And we got to do something with those. So instead of having annual sales or little gimmicks and gifts, we just move it to our Here and Now location, which is a storefront of another 200 dresses or so. They normally always have about 200 dresses minimally to shop. And you can buy them off the rack. They're going to range from sizes 6 through 26. So we have all the sizes, but it's a grab and go kind of store. When you're in there, the reason it's called Here and Now is because if you're here, the time is now. You just grab it and take it. We wanted that to be super simple and read in that brand, like grab it and go, get your dress and be done. That's nice. Yeah. So that's what filled the void for those brides. And that's actually how Studio I Do really, I think, was able to flourish even more because we were able to have a focused bridal, community here of brides that knew I'm ordering a dress. I know it's going to take this time. And that's what we focused on. And then the brides that couldn't do that, they were able to go to our sister store and really help us keep the best of the best in this store and filter out things that are one of a kind and unique and maybe aren't performing from a mass commercial level, but they are for those specific brides. They go to Here and Now, and they're still just as special. They are discounted, which is great. Save money. Save money. And it helps keep each brand in a lane and help certain consumers. Yep.
I guess like piggybacking off that, like you have not just one company, but
not just one,
but multiple.
Yeah.
What made you want to start?
Oh, it's my husband.
Yeah.
No, just my husband is like the business mindset. I'm the creative.
Okay.
If I see a void in something, I can have an idea to create and build and showcase. You know, if you build it, they will come. That's my mentality. His is, if the numbers make sense, do it. So it works really well for us
Nice.
together, because like I'll have an idea, he'll run the numbers, and he'll go, great idea, let's move, and make sense of it from a brand perspective. And that's kind of how we've added companies throughout the course. And we actually have 4 total for our storefronts. We have our 4th and newest company is Mom and Me Boutique,
which was like we were just talking about. It was genius that you
the
did
circle
that.
of life. Truly, it closed it. It closed the gap.
Bridal. Well, actually, no. Let's start from the beginning.
Yeah,
we got
baby,
prom,
wedding, and then go have a baby, and I get to see you.
And I get to see you again. Yeah, it's all circled, that is so cool.
Yeah. So it kind of, with that mentality, we and again, my husband, again, being business savvy, he's always like, you know, big companies, and I'll just talk about like Gap, Express, Limited, those, they're all owned by the same conglomerate.
Yeah.
And then they have different brands, but they have different brands to fill a void and hit different markets and people in different parts of their lives. And we're in a specialty business. We're not in big box retail. We are independent, mom and pop, homegrown company. And we run that way. But our mindset is we still have to reach consumers the same as these big box stores do, because that's who they're still our competitors.
They're still the competitors.
And the way we felt like we give such an experience, and we prioritize on kind of protecting the integrity of special life moments and celebrating those life moments from All the Rage, the beginning, which was All the Rage. And then, of course, elevating that with Studio I Do, giving another option for brides with Here and Now. And then being able to close the gap with Mom and Me and seeing brides back for their carrying their first baby and growing their family. And oh, wait, their family's growing. And then they get to come back. I haven't seen the comeback yet. Mom and Me is 1.5 years old for us.
It's coming though.
But I have helped a prom girl into a bride and now at Mom and Me. And it is so rewarding. I get goosebumps even thinking about it, because it is just so rewarding. And that's what All the Rage Stores, which is our big holding company, that's what it's about. That's what All the Rage Stores is about. It's about bringing you back for special life moments and helping protect them and celebrating them, because what we do is that's what we specialize in. So that's just been, it was never really a dream of mine, really. It was to own a store maybe, but not 4. I'm like, everyone goes, you're crazy, you're opening another store. But they just make sense. It's not because I want more. Honestly, I'm like, what am I doing? Every time I do it, I'm like, what am I doing? But I know it fills a void. With Mom and Me, Babies R Us was closing everywhere. There was nowhere to really shop for maternity fashion. All the maternity stores went out of business.
They did.
Like, they just disappeared.
Because there was one,
there was one in
Town Center. Names, but the one in Town Center. And that's the Nike.
And now it's Nike. And that's where I shopped when I had my kid 4 years ago, but now it's gone. And it's just, that's hard. And I was like, there's a void. We can fix this. Let's fill it, and let's make it really good. Let's make it trendy. Let's make it different. Let's not think of baby like the old days, like it's not smocked gear. It's not all, it's very trendy. It's what you want your little kid to feel like a big person. Like, that's what this is. It's different and unique, but it hits.
And with that, it's like you're also talking to a social media era too, because they want to put their kids online.
Oh yes, no matter how many people want to protect their kids from media,
they put them online.
You're still going to take pictures of your kid and post it.
And you want them to be fashionable.
You want them.
So that's really like cool that you did that, and it's filling that void.
And having a 4-year-old myself, and I have a little girl, so it is different when you have a girl. They want to be like mommy. She wants to dress like mommy. So that was another thing. There was Mom and Me, and I'm like, Mom and Me is like the same, like clothing. Like we could do Mom and Me matches. We have Dad and Me now. We've elevated to gear, because again, there's no place where you can test gear. And we have, my goal, the best of the best products. Like, that's what I go after. I want products that are hard for you to find in stores, that you can test, you can touch, you can feel. You can get served by some of the area's best. When I say I have the best team of staff, if anyone tells me they've been treated badly by one of my staff members, I take it to heart, because I have the best people running my stores, and they might have a bad day,
Yeah.
but we all have bad days.
Yeah.
You know, that's life, but they are amazing and they care tremendously. And I'm sure, like, with the world shifting, and, you know, I know everyone has experienced such a different world of how we operate business. But my girls are still dedicated. They show up, they help our customers, and having that in gear. And then now nursery, we're getting into nursery. We have nursery. It's just not open yet because I'm crazy and it's not finished. It's not styled
Are
to
you
my
doing
perfection.
toys too?
We have toys.
I knew it was coming.
Mostly,
All right, that's
we have
it.
toys, but they're not like, it's not toy store.
Okay.
It's toys more in a gifting way,
That's good.
not toys in a, my kid wants a toy,
Yeah.
come in and
Mhm.
it's like gifting and cutesy. But for real, it's
Bridal
like just
shower
this
gift.
whole,
Yeah.
baby shower.
Baby shower.
Baby shower
Yeah.
gifts. And, little cute, unique things that you can't find anywhere else, because we've created these relationships with our vendors, just like we did here in bridal. Same mentality. Great relationships, keeping them strong and having the best of the best.
I think you're truly something special, 'cause I really like what you done to me. I can't really explain it. I'm so into you.
Pause into action. You like this interview? You like the knowledge you're getting? You like our guests? We continuously do this week in and week out. So we'll be bringing content to y'all week in and week out. If you want to catch the next interview, like, subscribe, hit the ring bell for us. Get notified on the next episode of the Hustle and Motivate podcast. Let's get back into it. So with that being said, what are you doing? That's actually having so many.
That's what am I
What
not
are you doing to maintain everything? Like because we did a previous episode on branding. And you were talking about Express and all of these, they're all under one umbrella.
Yeah.
And those, even in small businesses, those are the companies that we have to compete with, because when you're going to go make a logo and you're going to make the feel of your website, that is who you need to be imitating and looking at, because that is who consumers are
It's
used
like
to
the
looking
commercial mindset.
Mhm.
You have to hit commercial.
Yes.
And as creative as we want to be,
Yep,
and
you
as
can't-
cool and funky,
You can't.
if you're too funky, you're untouchable.
Yep.
And you need to be relatable, and
Mhm.
you need to still have that. So, like, as much as we build these elevated experiences, and we do it more on a service level,
Yep.
but this is an everyday market specialty, but it's everyday as far as, like, we want to hit someone that shops in Express. We want to hit someone that shops in Target. We want to hit someone that shops at what are some high-end stores? Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
I don't know. We
Yeah.
want to hit them all,
Yeah.
but we have to commercialize that and make it relatable.
Yeah.
And the way we do that is just by trying to be relatable ourselves. Like, we're not like, we're just normal women that love creating fun things. Like, I have a team of marketing. Every store has a marketing director that, helps me tell the story. They're creatives on a visual level where they do photo shoots, and I'm just there giving my input and ideas to each brand and making sure we're staying on par. But my goal is to stay relatable.
Yeah.
You cannot get too up into the fashion and into the stuff that I love and appreciate so much, because that's not relatable and it's not attainable. And especially in today's world, that it's always evolving, but people could quickly decide one day that I'm not going to spend $2,000 on a bridal gown anymore. So why would I put all my eggs into one basket selling $2,000 in up bridal gowns? You have to have a diverse selection. You have to have a good price point for everybody. That's something we thought about during COVID with all the rage. We had prom stopped.
Yeah.
It's funny, the wedding industry for us, I know for you guys, was hit hard with COVID. it was a little protected, and I felt so bad for all my vendor friends because you guys couldn't physically have an event.
Nope.
But I could safely create a shopping experience.
Yeah.
So I was able to keep my bridal store growing during COVID. And even though weddings weren't happening, they were planning
for next year.
for next year. And if their wedding got postponed, they planned.
And also,
And
I
so
think
I got them.
with that, right?
Mhm.
Them losing out on the day itself, being able to come in your store, if you ever come in Studio I Do, or any store that Ashley has, her staff is amazing. And it's a high-end experience because everyone's dressed in black. They're all dressed nicely. And it's a high-end experience. So I think that when COVID stopped everything, they were still able to come here and kind of get the feeling of at least I'm doing something.
And you know what? They were able to get it even better because it was limited appointments. We still had restrictions. I mean, just like a wedding had a restricted number of guests, businesses had restrictions as well. Yeah, we had it depended on your square footage. But I think for us it was less. We had, I think, 25 at one time. Couldn't be more than 25 people in our store, and then it went up. But we literally gave almost every bride had a private experience, which, and I hate to sound salesy, but our closing ratios went up.
Yeah.
I mean, we were helping like 75% of our brides were buying a dress the day they came out. And we had kind of the same dresses. I mean, our inventory is always changing, but we had same experience other than they had the store to themselves and they had everyone there they could have. Everyone was masked up and safe, but they were just ready. They felt like, oh my gosh, I'm going to celebrate this moment because I don't know what the future looks like, but I'm going to celebrate it and I'm going to do this. And wow. And that was kind of also fun for us. And now the world's back open. I mean, things are happening as normal. Open. But we're looking now, like we're not comparing our year to last year and the year before.
Right.
We compare our year to 2019, which is a normal business year. And we are on par with that. We took the last 2 years as a blessing in disguise for us in our business.
I think a lot of businesses did.
Well, you kind of had to, whether you decided to reevaluate what you were doing with your life, like everyone did, not just business people, anybody, because we're like, crap, life is precious. But also you have to just make sure that you're taking your business on the right path for your future. And we knew that this isn't the end. This isn't the only thing for Studio I Do. Studio I Do and All the Rage still have so much opportunity and potential to grow because we are still developing ways to make our experiences better and also our products and what we deliver. So that's still happening. We just were able in those slower times or those more, I guess the way to say it, we were slower, but we were still busy. Focus times, we were able to make good changes behind the scenes, buy differently, different staff. I mean, we brought different staff in. We had a lot more time for staff trainings and accountability, which was how, has been difficult now. It was great during COVID. Now it's different. It's shifted. There's a mindset. Nobody wants to work.
Okay.
But not the staff we have.
Right.
We need more staff. We're at this point now where we're back open. And the world's consumers want everything. They want it as if they were shopping during COVID. They want the red carpet treatment no matter what day of the week it is. And we can't deliver that without more people and more hands. And I think that's happening across the globe. This is not just an All the Rage Studio I Do problem.
So do you think it's a generational thing or is it just people in general?
I think it's a mix. I think generational is a big part of it.
Okay.
And then you have this movement of, you have your social media movement, a TikTok movement of, I can be a celebrity and make money and get free stuff from people like big box retailers that can give you free stuff because guess what? They waste a lot of stuff. So they can give you that. They're just sending you junk. Sorry. But mom and pop stores can't compete with that lifestyle and we'll never be able to. Like I can't give away wedding dresses every week for somebody TikTok and and to me that's not authentic. I want you to choose to shop at one of my stores because you did your research, because we have the product. You've read our reviews and you see that people get great experiences. And if people did not get great experience, you still read them and you go, oh, that sounds that sounds unfortunate for them, but this still seems like a great store to shop because that happens too. But TikTok is all rainbows and butterflies and is not real life. Exactly. And when a person is trying to sell me a product, I have a hard time as a elder millennial, because I am a millennial, but I'm an elder one because on the cusp. You got it, So I understand different facets of life. I'm not 100% techie.
Right.
I appreciate a life before phones. But what is so baffling to me is that I have to listen to pretty much a sales pitch. It's a commercial.
Yeah.
But it's a commercial that's so not authentic because this person is just literally got free stuff and telling you how great it is. But how do you know they're even using it?
They're being paid for it.
Yeah.
So how do you know it's authentic? And I'm finding that a Google review and a leave, like having one of your brides leave, like recording them saying, how was your experience here? That's more authentic than you giving somebody a dress and modeling.
Exactly. And that's what I don't think and that's why I'm going to go back to the generation. Like they feed into the TikTok world and believe every single thing that comes out of anybody's mouth on there, where in older days, which weren't too long ago, but older days, you would watch a commercial on TV and the business would make a commercial to promote their product and the authenticity of their product. And they would do that and they would do it. And you would decide if that commercial was going to grab your attention and you were going to go shop there. But now when you hear it from a person, you almost feel like it's word of mouth. It's not word of mouth. It's not the same. It is bought. And I don't want that. I still spend a lot of money to market my businesses and I don't utilize, I use social media. I don't utilize influencers. I don't utilize things like that to promote my businesses because I just want you to do it because you really actually
that's better.
Love it. Loved your experience. I don't want you to do it because you got something from me for it. And that's where I think the struggle is with just in business now, and especially small businesses, because we can't compete with that.
In the middle.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
And but I am thinking at some point it's going to change. It's going to. And the world evolves I feel like every 3 years. And I'm saying
it's 3?
I think it's 3 because here's the thing. I think things take a long time to like get going.
Okay.
But like TikTok has been around now for almost 2 years. But it has been around longer.
It has.
But 2 years it's been talked about. But COVID pushed it. Pushed it because we're like, well, we
have nothing else to do.
Our TV shows aren't making TV shows anymore. We're tired of watching the same Netflix thing. So now we're just going to stream YouTube because everyone's a celebrity and I just want to see what everyone's doing and, wasting their time every day during COVID and quarantine. That made sense. But now it's been used as a marketing tool. It's the new television and but I feel like something else is going to eventually take its place. It's going to change. A new generation's going to come. There's going to be a new thing. But I do feel like the next generation, I think it's called the Alpha generation. I think it's the next one. Am I right?
You might be
and they're young now. I mean, they're not there yet.
Children.
Yeah, they're kids. Yeah. It's my kid.
Yeah.
Yes. But I do believe my kid is going to change the world. And I believe the Alpha generation is going to fix. Now, I don't know how long I'll live through that. But I mean, I will live through that. I hate to age myself. I'm not that old.
No.
But you know what I mean? Like if I'm lucky enough to see
it's
that.
It's going to be different.
It's going to be different.
And hopefully it corrects itself.
I think it will. And
I'm a pessimist. So I don't think things are going.
You think it's going to get worse?
Yeah, but
I'll
let you have your hope.
I try to see the brighter side. I'm a problem solver. That's why I think I do business. I'm just a problem solver. And when I see something that's like, that could be better. There's definitely a better way to handle that. How do we fix this? Like I'm constantly, like my husband has stress out moments sometimes throughout the day because, he handles the books, he handles the bills. It's stressful. I don't do that. I get to have fun. And he lets me and I love him for it. But like when he gets stressed, I'm like, okay, I understand you have a problem right now. You're stressed out, but how do we fix it? Yes. Like I'm always thinking of how to fix it. And sometimes people are like, I'm wrapped up in the problem and I want to try to solve them. So like I'm even one that I'm like, we're going to fix this world one day. I stay positive because you have to. And it's the only way really your businesses can keep going.
Yeah.
And because if you can stay positive and see the light, and one day you may go, I've done what I can do.
That's it.
And if you could just say, I've done what I can do, and it's not that I'm tired. I've done all I can do or I want to do, and I'm ready to either stop doing this and go on to something else, or I'm just ready to let someone else take this and see what they can do with it. You could still be proud of that. And you can and that's kind of how I see my future going. Like, I'm going to do this until I get bored.
And you can.
And I will. And I don't get, I get bored, but I get bored and then I just decide something else to do with my businesses because I can't sit still. I have ants in my pants.
Yeah.
But no, and I love, like I said, I love creating. But all I mean by that is like, at one day when I'm ready to just stop, there's still going to be something else for me. And it's going to be like trying to do better for the world. Right now I do it through fashion and special life moments. But like my end goal is, how do we make the world better? And nation right now. Let's focus on nation. Let's focus on that.
Nation.
How do people in our back door, in our community? I should start with community, then nation. That's what I mean. It all ties together. But that's what I want to fix, because that's truly like how I feel like everything can then be successful.
Families, community, nation.
Yep.
And that's how we fix it.
But we all have to be committed to it. It's not one person, everyone. But I will still be a voice, because I feel like I have to keep that up to have a better life for me. I don't want to get stuck in the negative. There's a lot of negative. We all know. I mean, but you have to stay positive.
I agree. So
and that's what we're about here.
Time is valuable. We got to wrap it up.
Oh, wrap it up.
But I do have one more question.
Yeah.
What advice would you give businesses? Companies, businesses that can keep them going, marketing, whatever it is that you would say.
Gosh, there's so many. I'm not going to keep going. I hopefully gave a lot of advice to some of my things that we're doing in our businesses right now. But I would say, as a business owner, I think you have to stay passionate about what you do. And if you have that as a business owner, that's first and foremost. And then you have to lead by example for your staff.
Cool. And
you have to create a culture and a place where people want to come to work. They want to enjoy what they do. And I'm also one, I'm saying this and I don't want to sound, I'm not about the money. I never open my business for money. If I don't know about money, like I do it for experience, but I'm successful doing that and I'm focused on it. So if you have focus and passion and can deliver that in what you do as a business, to me, everything else comes with it. But if everyone's focused on the dollar and the goals and we have to hit this, it can really, I think everything. It does. And it can create a not great work environment and all that. Like, so we try to stay happy. We do have goals. We have to set goals. We're a business. But you need to know that you're going to have good months and you're going to have bad months, and it's all going to level itself out. And if you continue staying on top of it, it'll all work. It'll be great.
I like that.
So that's all I could say. Don't focus on the money. Keep your staff happy, create a culture, and just be passionate about it. And once you lose that passion, you need to just put your hands up and say, I've done what I can, and move on.
Like I was just telling you.
Yeah.
Like I was just telling you. Yep. So.
Yep. And be okay with it.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Ashley.
Of course. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank y'all for checking out the Hustle and Motivate podcast, season 2. Always respect the hustle if you earn from it, and motivate others in the process. We'll see y'all on the next one.